News app.
As for crime in the city, there's shocking new numbers demonstrating what experts say could impact your safety. News 4 Investigates finds there are thousands of criminal cases in limbo tonight, and it's leaving the accused out on the streets. Only News 4 Chief Investigator Lauren Traeger has the explosive story.
It was just heartbreaking to see my son like lifeless at 8 months.
This St. Louis family still grieving months after losing little Jihad to a drug overdose while in the care of a relative.
The circuit attorney has the information. They need to do something.
Though News 4 Investigates has covered his tragic death from last year, to date, there are no charges and no justice.
It cannot go unpunished. There must be some accountability somewhere.
It's the kind of pain and frustration felt by many in St. Louis, anxiously wanting answers and accountability after falling victim to crime. But new data just obtained by News 4 Investigates, experts say, is revealing alarming information about the criminal justice system in St. Louis.
Having so many applications pending a decision is a huge problem, and it needs to be addressed immediately.
Richard Rosenfeld is a criminology professor who studied St. Louis crime for decades.
Have you seen anything quite like it?
Never, never.
Here's exactly what we're talking about. Cases referred to as pending application of warrant or pause. They're criminal cases St. Louis police have solved, ID'd a suspect, and brought to the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office for charges. In the past, officers would apply in person in the warrant office in the city courthouse. But at the start of the pandemic, the prosecutor's office went virtual, an email system, and still have not returned to normal operations. After News 4 Investigates received a tip about a massive backlog of cases just sitting at the circuit attorney's office and going nowhere, we started making requests. The police department acknowledging a notable increase in the number of PAW cases. So just how many? More than 4,400 cases.
No justice for victims.
It's an astonishing number to Professor Rosenfeld.
When you initially read that 4,415, what'd you think?
I thought this cannot be true. Can't be true. There's got to be a mistake here.
The list is so long, in fact, that if you took the pages, laid them on the ground one by one, they would span the length of a football field.
Let's say it's half, 2,000 pending warrants. That's still many, many too many.
We asked the circuit attorney's office for an interview about this, but they declined. Instead, they sent a brief statement saying they, quote, went fully remote to protect the safety of our staff and our police partners, adding they are working closely with the police to process POD cases that, quote, target low-level, nonviolent offenders and focus the CAO's resources on the most serious and violent crimes.
This issue of less serious, more serious stuff bothers me.
But Rosenfeld says the CAO should be more forthcoming.
Motor vehicle theft, terrorist threat.
His brief review of the list, obtained by News 4 from a police source, shows high-level felonies on it. Since they're not charged, many of the suspects are allowed to walk free.
I don't think the public is aware that there could be over 4,000 applications for warrants on some very serious offenses that are in legal purgatory.
News 4 Investigates further found some of the cases date back nearly 2 years.
There's no excuse for having an application be in pending status for that long.
Rosenfeld wonders if it's a lack of staff in the office. News 4 Investigates has in the past told you about an exodus of prosecutors from Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's office.
Is the office functioning if we've got this giant backlog?
Not as well as it should be.
And to get caught up, he says,
it's going to take a hell of a lot of work. And I hope the Circuit Attorney's Office is up to it.
That's just a horrible number.
Ed Pistacco knows just what it takes to run the warrant office. He did it for a decade, from 2007 to 2017.
I don't know how they're going to make up for 4,000 cases because each of those cases has to be reviewed individually. And as you can, just the raw number is, that's a lot of cases.
He says he's never heard of a backlog so bad.
Sometimes we'd get a little backed up, but a little backed up meant, maybe a couple of dozen.
Again, we wanted to talk to Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. After repeated requests spanning nearly a month, the Circuit Attorney's Office still hasn't provided an interview.
It certainly sends up signal flares that there's a problem.
Pistacco says it's something the office should take very seriously.
Who are those 4,000 people that are suspects? Are some of those people dangerous to the community?
We wanted to talk to the police as well. They did not provide an interview but sent a lengthy statement critical of the CAO's email box system, writing, quote, "We have attempted to work with the CAO's warrant office to streamline and correct this deficiency. The SLMPD is committed to ensuring each suspect is detained no longer than necessary and to ensure each victim has his or her case presented to the CAO's warrant office in a timely manner." So again, these cases are in a sort of legal limbo. It's not clear if anyone at the Circuit Attorney's Office has ever even looked at most or all of them. However, as a point of comparison, we did ask other counties about how many cases they have currently under review. St. Louis County said they could not provide the data because they are still a mixture of digital and paper files. St. Charles County could, though. They have approximately 640 cases under review. And Jackson County, where Kansas City is located, has about 1,700 cases under review. Again, less than half of what St. Louis has on that PAW list. Meanwhile, some cops tell me that even some suspects are saying things like, "Oh, it's no big deal. I will just be pawed." And in fact, from our review of the list, there are some people who have been arrested, released, and arrested again for a different crime, then released again. It's certainly an issue we will continue to follow. For News 4 Investigates, I'm Lauren Traeger.